Well, get out your blades, guys, because we've got an assassin in the house. I hope you can find him and dispatch him before he gets to me. Yeah, that's the name of this knife, though. This is the Kizer Assassin. And while the original Assassin with its 3-inch blade was pretty popular, I'm being told, by White Mountain Knives, larger models of the same with Kizer don't seem to get as much traction. So I ordered this one up to see if that was the case, and this is the Assassin XL. You'd think with a name like XL it would be like a 4-inch knife, but no, it's only about a 3.4-inch knife or so. We'll measure it up shortly. Has a nice run of jimping here. Yes, it is a button lock. It is a deep carry. It is a switchable clip. Clip rides on the surface. We got a nice greenish micarta, and Kizer does a great job with their micarta. Button's got just a teeny bit of stick, but in checking all my other button locks from Kizer and Civivi, they all have some degree, with one exception, of a little bit of initial stick, and you can hear it if I put it up to the microphone. Did you hear that? Yeah, a little snap. Does it prevent the button from being pushed? No, not at all. And we can swing it back and forth with ease. It floats very freely on bearings. Almost what you consider to be a weak detent. You can fail it every time. You've got to put some energy behind it. You've got to follow through in order to open this knife. Ergos are pretty simple. Big old lanyard hole in the stainless backspacer. A little bit of jimping on there. As I said, big run of jimping, like almost 2 inches here on the spine of the blade, and you know what? It works. It's that file-like jimping, nicely cut in. So we've got a nice satin finish on the flats here. We've got a stone wash with a little bit of shine to it on the grinds. And what is the steel on this Assassin XL? The steel is 154 cm, as they've been using a lot in these mid-range knives. I don't have the price in front of me. It wasn't a whole lot. I think it was under 100. I'll make sure you get the link. I've been doing too many reviews lately. Remember all the prices. Apologize to you for that. And it isn't that I'm a rich man, but you know, sometimes the sale is a week away from the receipt of the knife. So you can get 10% off of everything you buy at White Mountain by using my discount code OLDSWORD, OLDSWORD, all one word. So I said it was a button lock. How is the lockup? Very solid. Just like all of the Kizer button locks, when they're open, they are extremely solid. Sometimes they get a little fidgety with how the button works. And what I did with this one to get rid of some of that stick was use some, the heck is it called? I'll tell you in a second. I knew it was some kind of glide. It's Tough Glide by Sentry. Made for guns, made to protect things, and what happens with this is when it dries, it forms a dry lube on the parts. And I was told that was the best thing to use, next to nothing, on button locks, since they tend to be a little finicky. You may or may not agree. Thus far, it's working out well for this one. Again, just a little bit of stick, if you want to call it that, at the beginning, and I'll show you the amount of stick, if you want to call it that, again, on 3 other knives, or at least 2 other button knives that I have in the wings here. But before we do that, let's measure it up. 8¼ inches overall, 3.4 like I was saying, blade length, and handle thickness in inches 0.53, blade thickness in inches 0.10, and blade in millimeters 2.6 millimeters, so relatively thin blade stock, and fairly slicey with a flat grind and that drop point, almost a spear point. Pretty good thickness out to the point, and let's see if it's centered up. Absolutely, with a small amount left over, so blade to handle ratio is not bad. Two ways to open it: with the button, and it bounces with the flipper tab. Last thing remaining is the weight. So the weight is, drum roll please, 4 ounces pretty much, 408. So not bad, fairly light. It's probably weight relieved, but let's check. Yeah. What does it look like? Looks like some diagonal slot kind of bridge work things going on there. See if I can get it to show up in the camera. There it is. So yeah, plenty of weight relieving. Some big perfs, a big skeletonizing sections milled out. And overall, I think it should be quite a nice EDC knife. You know, with the small one, original one being 3 inches and this being 3.4, I sort of prefer a 3.4 inch knife. I really don't think it is that big. However, I said I'd bring out some others, and let's do that. So here we have the Begleiter button lock. This was all White Mountain exclusive with this red and black carbon fiber handles, and this is the only one that has no stick. And I'm guessing it's because of the coating, possibly the black coating on the plunge lock. What do you think? That could be it. I have Savivs and some other knives that do have a little stick from time to time. And I was given that method through a video by Jared Neves, where you can, if you are experiencing a lot of stick or weirdness in your button locks, of loosening that, loosening these 2 screws only on this scale, loosen it up pretty significantly, take them out and Loctite the tips, then tighten, 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 tighten. Slow but sure until you get an even torque on those screws. Get it to where you want it, and then let it dry up and let that Loctite, the temporary Loctite, blue Loctite, harden up. And that worked extremely well for the next knife that I'm going to show you, which is the Begleiter XL. Now, this knife was perfect when it came in, and then over the course of a week it started getting really weird. I did that technique that Jared showed, and now it is perfect. Does it have any lock stick? Just a teeny tiny bit. But before, it was acting all kinds of weird. It would open up and be loose, and all of that was attributable to the fact that the scale and the the scale and the liner did not align perpendicular to the button, to the plunge lock. And that's all it took, was leveling that off. You couldn't see it, but it was skewed. And you can get in touch with Jared if you need more info on that, but his technique, at least for this knife, worked perfectly. And this is a great knife, almost a 4-inch blade, beautiful drop point, 154 cm, and these are back again on White Mountain if you missed it the first time. But you can see, let's bring it back out just for size comparison. You can see its size next to the Assassin. Geez, I wish they wouldn't name knives after people that like to murder people, but there you go. I'm out of frame, aren't I? There, there, and there. So you can see Assassin's a little bigger than the big lighter button lock, regular size, and it is smaller than the big lighter XL. One more we can put in the picture here is the PPY, which is not a button lock, but another neat Kizer EDC knife I really like. It's got a beautiful action on it, thumb studs. And I like the fact that the big lighter there has the thumb studs too. I'm more of a thumb stud guy than a flipper guy. And certainly those way more than a front flipper, but I'll deal with front flippers as they come along. So there you have those four. 3 of them being button locks and 1 being a liner lock. I recommend the PPY. Great knife. So how does it stack up size-wise against, say, a Griptilian? Well, there's the grippy. Pretty much dead on. So you've got a Griptilian-sized knife there, both in handle height, blade height, pretty much. Not in the blade profile. And then if we were to bring out the Rat 1, as I usually do, you can see that the Rat 1's a good inch longer. Okay, and the blade, about a ½ inch longer. So again, coming up on 3½ inches. Nice blade profile, usable, good usable point. Nice forward belly there with a straight edge back here. 154 cm, good solid steel. There was a while there where everything coming out of Benchmade in the 80s and 90s and whatever and early 2000s was 154 cm, as with many custom knife makers. So there you have the Kizer Assassin XL, a button lock. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give it a like. Be back real soon.